Welcome back to my old ranch. Today I'm going to talk about chainsaws and what I do and what works for me. A couple things I want to do. I'm going to talk about the sharpening stones I use, which are Tri-Link is what I bought this time. We're going to look at a brand new chain and how that works. Again, this is Tri-Link. Now what I'm going to talk about specifically in this one is this Poland chainsaw I bought last fall for $29. I figured for $29, yeah, I can see how that works. Interestingly enough, I've been using it since last fall and have not sharpened the blade. And I have actually cut, I don't know how many cords of wood, but quite a bit. It's been cold. We've gone through a lot of wood this year. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, I'm going to make a cut here. We're going to see how sharp it is right now, which is, it's getting pretty dull. It's not completely gone, but it's getting pretty dull. Then we're going to take it to the shop and I'm going to sharpen this blade, and I'm going to show you in detail what I look for and how I do it. Works pretty good for me. It's pretty fast. Then I'm going to come back and make another cut, and we're going to see the difference. Then I'm going to take the blade, this blade off. I'm going to put this brand new blade on there, and we're going to see how fast it cuts. So we're going to see how well I can sharpen my blade relatively quickly and what it is I look for. Okay, to start with, I'm going to make the first cut. As you can see, I'm not really going through it that fast. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right there halfway, and we're going to go sharpen it, and we're going to see how much faster it will do the rest of the cut. I think that'll give us a pretty good comparison to what we're dealing with. Okay, we're in the shop. Now I'm getting ready to sharpen this blade. Now, the first thing I do, put the chainsaw blade in the vise, tighten it down so it's easy for me to work on. Then you got a little knob over here. You can loosen it up, and this, you can see the chain goes back and forth, tightening and loosening. I pull back on it, tighten it tight, because that way it makes this chain a lot easier to work on. Now the next thing is that you have to determine is what size stone that you need. I've got a 5/32, a 3/16, and a 7/32. Now this 7/32 is obviously for a much bigger saw. Now to make this easier so that hopefully you can be able to see what I'm talking about, I'm going to take the 7/32 stone, and I've taken the chain loose here, and you see when I push this through, you can see the stone and how it matches up with the tooth. Now what usually happens is right here, flip this around, this point right here is what dulls out first, and then the rest of the blade. So when you grind this, you want to make sure that you have this hook right here, because this is what cuts. If the stone is too big, let me grab this other one. This is actually just the next size up, but it's too big, it will actually grind out that hook, and this will be too flat. So it's one of the things you want to be aware of when you do this. Take your stone, push it through, look at the way that it matches up to that tooth. Now just to show you another way that many people sharpen their blades, they'll use a file. They'll take the file and they'll put it in there, and they'll file back and forth, which takes quite a while and takes more patience than I have. My stone actually works quite well for me, and it's relatively fast. Now I like to use my die grinder, old Black & Decker. I don't even know how old it is. I've had this a long time. But I take the little stone, put it in my die grinder, tighten it up, and this is what I'm going to use. Make sure this is up. Now the next thing I do, I'll look on the chain, I'll see if there's a mark or a different colored chain or a link or something so that I know where I start, where I end. A lot of times there isn't, so I take a marker, I like the red, it works well. I'll actually mark the top of the tooth where I start, so that way I can tell when I've gone through the whole chain. All right, now I've repositioned the camera. I thought putting it more in the sun was going to help, but it really isn't. Now, one of the things you want to pay attention to, when you turn your die grinder on in this case, notice the rotation. In this case, it's rotating this way. So when you come to your blade, you want it to be rotating this way so that it doesn't jump up. If you do it this way and it's rotating, every now and then it'll jump up and then it'll totally ruin what you've done. It'll take away. Also, whenever you sharpen anything, you always want to go away from the blade, not towards it, because there's actually little tiny fibers left over on the blade that keeps it sharp, whether it's a knife or whether it's a scissors or anything. You always want to go away from the blade. So let me start a couple of these and I'll show you what's going on. There's my mark right there. So I start, and speed this up a little bit. Okay. See, now I did the same thing. You want to not do that. And I'll show you in the camera how sharp that is now. I'll go ahead and do my first one. Doesn't take very long. But again, you want to make sure that point is nice and sharp. Now I wanted to give you a close-up of what exactly I'm doing here. So hopefully you can see this, I believe so. So going in, plowing back and forth, making sure that point is nice and sharp. Come around the other direction and do the same thing. Get out of the view. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I changed the stone out and I will continue on. Okay, move the blade a little down a little more. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Boy, I don't like these stones at all. Well, this is my last stone. I guess I'm just putting too much pressure on it. Used to some of the other ones that are actually gray in color and not these, but I'm gonna have to be a little easier as I finish this out. Yeah, I got that one. Keep pulling up on it. I'm not supposed to. Try and take it easy. Need to make sure this stone lasts me the rest of the way. Yeah, looks me. It did that. That point there. Doesn't quite want to sharpen to the point. I think I got it there. All right. Hopefully you can see, or at least get the idea of what I'm doing. That point there is not very pretty dull also. Oop, there it again. I didn't even put that much pressure on it. Well, hopefully I'll get the rest. I don't have that many more teeth to go. So let's do the rest of them. Let's see where we at here. Yeah, almost there. There's my red one right, red mark right there. There, we got that one. And you can see when you look at the tooth, at the point where it just be a little bit rounded, and that's the dullness of it. And I got that on. Okay, well, you see that didn't take that long. So what we're going to do now, I'll take it back over to that log, and we're going to make a cut, and we're going to see how much better it is. Then I'm going to take this blade off and show you how that happens, and I'm going to put the new chain on, and we'll make another cut right next to it so we can verify, did I do an okay job sharpening it? I mean, it's not the best way as far as many people say, but it works for me. And really, if it works for me, then that's just fine for me. Okay, we're back at the staging area where I cut the majority of my wood. So let's see how this thing's going to do. So I'll finish this cut to start with, and then we'll go from there. Well, it definitely grabs a lot more, and I would say that's a big improvement. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start another one here. Let me cut this out of my way. I hate it when I step on my cord. I'm going to get this out of my way. Okay, let's start it with this. And I would like to, should have had a little bigger log or something. All right, well, you can see that. Now, let's change this blade out. Okay, I had to grab the blade. This is one I've got 14 inches, it's supposed to be for a Poland, but there's a couple things we're going to need to check. So first, unplug it. Let's be a little safe anyways. Take this cover off. Again, this is the $29 Poland electric chainsaw I got from Harbor Freight, and I said, yeah, why not? So pull your bar back. It'll come off. Now there's a couple things we want to check, because I don't really know if this, I'm not absolutely positive this is the right blade. Hopefully you can see what I'm going to show you here. On here, there's these little tiny ridges right here that go down into the teeth on the clutch of the, well, in this case it wouldn't be a clutch because it's electric, gas powered to have a clutch. Anyways, it goes down into the teeth of the main drive shaft. So you take your old blade and you match it up to make sure that they're the same length, same size, which in this case, and I don't know if you can see that, but they are the same, which is good, I'm glad. So I can use this blade. And if they were different, you don't want to use that blade because it will not only destroy the blade, but it will destroy your bar and the gear that drives this blade. So one of the things you want to make sure that you check when you're doing this. So now I'll take this old blade, get it out of my way. Take your new blade, make sure your teeth, the sharp part, is facing the correct direction. Go ahead and put that on your bar. Let me clean this up a little. Another thing while I'm doing this, when I mentioned, if your bar is not oily, you're not going through very much oil, and or your bar or your chain stretches constantly, it's because your oiler is not doing a proper job. So let's get this into position here. This is sometimes a pain in the butt. Put that in position, put the chain over on the sprocket. Move this is about where we need to be. Make sure that the chain is in the groove of the bar. Kind of shake out the loose stuff anyways. We put this on. Go ahead and pull this, make sure it's tight. You don't want it guitar string tight, but you want it tight. Now let's plug it back in. And let's see what this one does. Well, you can see that it works quite well. It's already stretched just a little bit, but I know my oiler is working really good on this, but it's a brand new chain and it will stretch a little bit right at first. So you can see that sharpening it by hand, it definitely grabs harder than this, and if this thing wasn't moving around on me so much, I would actually be able to smoothly go down. But I almost think that the one that I just sharpened works faster than the brand new blade. My opinion, your opinion, please leave your comments. What do you think about what I did and how I do it? Maybe I could do it differently. I'm always open to learn because this is just the way I've learned to do it on my own. So please share your comments, like, subscribe, and stick around for my next video. My chicken eggs are about to hatch in a couple more days. So if you want to see my series on hatching chickens, growing chickens, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.